Dr. Aggie.
Thank you so much. I'm Eki from Bangkok. I love the way that you say that the way we show up impact and is responsibility of everyone to create psychological safety. Yep. The question is, how do you feel whether psychological safety makes it more difficult for people to hold others accountable for high performance? And any tips or advice on making holding other people accountable for performance still work in a psychological safe environment? What are the tips or what are the typical words that you might use? Thank you.
Yeah, the typical words, Aggie, thank you for that question. And it's a really important one because, as I say, people, they think psychological safety and they think, oh, you're talking about everybody being nice guys to one another and all accountability and all standards go out the window. And it's really not. I think the key word is clarity. You have to have, for example, absolute clarity on what is acceptable behavior. What are things that you can challenge? What are the things that, for example, one aspect of psychological safety is the safety to be able to take chances and make mistakes without it being fatal for you, either emotionally or career-wise or whatever. Now, if you, for example, are a welder and you choose not to wear a mask and you to see how it works out, that's just plain stupid. Because and that deserves to be punished and deserves to be sanctioned, because there are certain lines that should never be crossed in the cause of innovation. So the clarity needs to be there that says, here's what our values are, here's what the clear rules are, and here is the place within which you can innovate, play around, where you can sandpit if you want to. So I think that's the first thing, is clarity. And I think the second thing that's really important in that environment is the leader then becomes, and let me use an expression that Timothy Clark uses. I think it's really lovely. He says, it becomes the responsibility of the leader to provide air cover for people who are taking chances, asking questions, making mistakes. In other words, that when somebody speaks up and says, we've been doing it this way for years, why don't we try this? Then instead of us all reacting as we do, instinctively to savage somebody who goes against their opinion, that their responsibility is to provide this air cover, to provide them with security, to make sure that any friction is intellectual friction, not social friction. But I think if I brought it back to one word, it's absolute clarity. You have to have clarity on where the lines are. And there's lots more you can read, but that's I think the core of it.
Thank you so much. Super.
Sure, Aggie. Pleasure.